Well, um, I, per usual, I just put on this internet and tell it like it is. And this being St. Patrick's Day, I think I can say I've done more for the Irish descent people in the U.S. than maybe anybody. Have you ever heard of President John Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, etc.? Had a brother-in-law, bless his soul. He's Irish, real great man. I visited Ireland mainly, well, there were several good reasons. And one of them was as far as science and inventions of getting credit for what I have achieved, which is the Xerox photoelectric copier, and I have many, many videos dotting the I and crossing the T's of saying put this on a voice stress analyzer, absolutely prove I'm saying the truth. But what the criminally insane hoovers do is, because I want to be specific, is they try to make you maybe not as great a man as you are, or they want to try to shame you. Well, according to Galileo, for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So those foot soldiers are only doing what they're told to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And that's what they do. So I look at them and laugh. You know, it's... But those who give the orders, as you go up in authority, they know. And they figure, well, I don't want anything shameful as far as I'm concerned. Boy, they have to really play that game. Because, look, I'm the original 007. I'm now the 009. I've got two better than that phony baloney they rigged up. You understand? So, I'm forced to tell it like it is. And that is, I visited Ireland, and I did it at a time when it would be St. Patrick's Day, and got many good friends there. And I wanted to get on their main TV program, which is really good. And the only phone I could use, I got a lot of coins, was at a bar. And if you ever want to hear really humorous jokes, that's Irish jokes in a bar, especially on St. Patrick's Day. So I was calling like every day, maybe twice a day. And then I was waiting for a return call about being put on this program to say the truth about President Kennedy's assassination. And by my age, a young man said, I can help you get an appointment with that program and that man. I says, you can? Great, yeah. I said, well, how could you do it? He said, that's my brother. I said, well, gee, thanks. Make the appointment. I'm saying the truth. He says, okay. He gets on the phone, and he says, you have an appointment for tomorrow at a certain time. And I says, really, thanks. So I showed him my proof, and I said I could take a polygraph lie detector live on the program. I was supposed to do that in the U.S., but then they said no, they wouldn't do it. And they said, well, we're a Saturday ahead of ourselves. We have this Saturday, but we already booked for next Saturday. We have to have that Saturday ready as we do this Saturday. Then we have for the next Saturday who's going to be on, and then we work to prepare that. But we can put you on the Saturday after that. I said, okay, good. So I said, well, all right, then like on a Wednesday I'll call you and we'll get together. Fine. Well, we're going to go ahead. They say, yeah, okay. It's this Saturday now, and then the next Saturday I'm going to be on that program. And it goes into England Live. Now, to expose J. Edgar Hoover and the Brits and what they do, going into Britain Live, I said, well, boy, they really are kind of gutsy. Well, that night, the hotels have an elegant entrance, and their bar, and it's quite elegant, is in the basement or on the ground floor. Maybe that's the first floor, is maybe how they do it. So at this bar, and there was an attractive girl there, and I says, well, is it okay if I sit next to you? And she says, yeah, in fact, I'm hoping you do. And I said, well, I've been in this bar a few times, and I haven't seen you here, but it's really pleasant that you are here. I says, you kind of add some beauty to this good restaurant and bar. She says, oh, thanks. So we're chit-chatting. And I suspected she was a plant. But it's better to talk to her than just sit there at the bar alone. And she didn't scare me, So we're chit-chatting. She says, well, what do you do? I says, well, I'm really in science inventions. And she says, oh, gee, that sounds important. I said, well, I think so. And it is worth money. And the whole story, but I should have some money, but I'm striving. She says, I've got to do something, but I'll be back in a little while. But when she took her purse, and left the rest of her drink, well, in about a couple of minutes, here come two big guys, and they sit on each side of me. And they grab me by the arm. And they say, you're not going on that show Saturday. It was on Saturday. You're not going on that show Saturday. I says, why not? He says, well, we're telling you so. And I says, well, who are you? And he says, I'm who I am, and the other guy says, and I'm who I am. I said, well, I'm who I am, and I still say, unless you can show me who you are, you're wasting my time. So they look at me, he says, he took out a badge. Concentrated. It was FBI. It was a genuine FBI badge. He says, that's who I am. And the other guy took out a badge, and CIA. Official CIA badge. That's who I am. And the man was like in charge. The fellow that was like in charge was FBI. And he says, our orders are. He says, now, we don't want to shoot you. I'm sure you understand that. He says, but you see that clock on the wall? I looked at it. It was a cuckoo clock. He says, by 12 o'clock tonight, if you don't tell us you're not going on that show, by 12 o'clock tomorrow, high noon, you'll either be dead or we'll be forced to not have you on that show if we have to buy not only the time, that whole goddamn station. Do you understand what our orders are? We'll buy that whole goddamn station if we have to, but you're not going on that show. So you better tell us you're not going to go on that show. And I said, well, you know, they get a hold of me. What? I couldn't just. He said, well, I'm walking away. So I said, well, you and the FBI, you're out of your jurisdiction. And he looked at me, and I says, you and the CIA, I'm one of the founding fathers of the CIA, you ain't going to tell me anything. I says, you have your orders, but here's what let's do. Yeah, just, let me kind of relax here and give it some thought. And he says, okay. And as soon as they relaxed, I took off. No. That's a true story. You can put this on a voice stress analyzer. So I waited because they do what they're told, and maybe besides them doing criminal things, they sometimes are hotheads and don't think rationally. So I figured I'd give them a little time to think about it, because I'm going to go on that show. I had already talked to their Science Academy of Science there, and I completed that real good. So I am who I say I am, and I've achieved what I have achieved when I say I've done this in science and this invention, etc. Absolutely true facts. Now, when I called them, they said, yeah, we did agree, and we started to get the promotion, but from the U.S., they came in and gave us money, top money, and said that we're buying this time because that's what they want to do, and that's it. Or from those above me, they bought the time. I says, well, what are you going to put on? I goes to show you how the Hooverists work. He says, well, I take orders, and they told me it's going to be, he's a Jewish fellow that has studied all graffiti in bathrooms, and he's got pictures and all that, and he's going to put on about graffiti in bathrooms. Well, true fact, you get their morality of this Homo Hoover, their crimes, their MO, modus operandi. Now, daily, the money they've spent and are spending to go through immoral, hooveristic gyrations to try to cut you down, and that you're not as great a man as you say you are. And look at the power they have and the money and what they can do. Well, I laughed at them, because they're scaring nobody in the front lines where it's where push has come to shove. You understand? Now, I have about girls being raped and murdered. And it goes on in the U.S. big cities every night, night after night, week after week, month after month, year after year, and it keeps getting worse because the center of the cities get more of a ghetto, poor and drugs and crime and rape and murder. And it's like that hooveristic a fellow said to me when I says, we've got to try to save that black girl. He says, kind of like, that's none of our business. He says, I go, at least a half a dozen every night. And of the girls they purposely had murdered so they can take pictures and I think films and then broadcast nationally and internationally. Look how good we are. Look what we've done. We've caught this rape killer who they laughed like, yeah, we know that's him, but we don't have the way we want to pin him in court publicly. And they purposely let him go that I could have reached out and grabbed the fella if I would have known. Do you understand? Now, this is St. Patrick's Day. Well, like I said, I was in Ireland. And before I left, I'm so used to the warm weather that I got what's called walking pneumonia. And it damaged my lungs, which gave me trouble afterwards. And I always say the truth, really. So I'm walking, and it's been cold and rainy almost every day. And it looks like the sunshine might come out. Maybe the sun will shine, and you can see maybe a little glimpse between, a little silver between the clouds. And there's 3 Arabs with their holly dress, you know. And they saw me looking up at the clouds. They looked at the clouds, and they said, yeah, you're American. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm from the Southwest. I'm used to warm weather. So he says, yeah, oh, well, we are nice warm. He says, nice warm. He says, we can't wait till we get back. He says, all it does there is cold and rain. I says, yeah. I says, you hear my voice? I've got walking pneumonia. And he says, oh, so we were walking and talking. And then I said, well, it's supposed to get warmer, they tell me. And as we were walking and talking, the clouds sort of opened and the sunshine. And we all just stopped and looked at each other. Gee, by golly. So that's why it's the Emerald Country. Tall grass, 4 or 5 feet tall. It rains and that grass grows really tall. The green, green grass of home. Well, as I was saying, just before I left, I had been checking employment to say maybe work there. And I saw an ad that advertised. Now, I'm trying to remember the name, but I think it was a Jewish name. Hollywood. Well, now they're really strong in Hollywood. And they joke themselves, they own Hollywood. But in the way in the bottom, in small print, it was Hollywood, Florida. Now, I've done security work, and as I say, I'm one of the founding fathers of the CIA. So I suspected that girls who wouldn't read the fine print and maybe say, well, I'm not working here, and I can get maybe work in the U.S. and in Hollywood, maybe get in the movies. Hollywood. I'll try, I'll go to America. So I went to their intelligence department and talked to one of their agents, some of the supervisors in charge, and I said, this is my opinion. Now, I've worked in security, and I have some idea about security, and I sure as heck know, the U.S., in particular, Hollywood. I live in that area, and I've tried to have a movie made, but that isn't Hollywood of the area of California. That's Hollywood. Look at that fine print. It's FL. That's Florida. Oh, Florida. I says, yeah. He's not Hollywood, California? No. You see the FL in fine print there, it's Florida. No. I said, in my opinion, this is to catch unsuspecting young girls to maybe go to the U.S. and go to Hollywood, Florida. Now, employment isn't too good right now. And there's 1,000 girls from all over the U.S. and other countries even flock Hollywood to try to get in the movies. Most of them, if they want to work, will get a job as a waitress and hope they can get in the movies. If they don't get a job as a waitress, they might be in a little serious trouble, some of them, in that big city area there of Hollywood is just kind of a little northwest of Los Angeles, but it's all, the streets all are continuous. So I said, I think you have to check into this ad, who wrote the ad, and who they are, because I think they're trying to get young girls to go there, get stuck in Hollywood, Florida, and if they can't find a job as a waitress, they might be forced into prostitution. He looked at me and he says, is that what you suspect? I said, I'm sure, sir. He says, okay, I'll check into it. Now, here in the U.S., of late I've been preaching, not actually preaching. It gets worse all the time. The black girl that the FBI fella said, no, you don't do anything. We're here, we do our work. I says, but they're raping her and they'll rape and kill her. They're starting to hit her now. Yeah, I saw him punch her. He kind of, he says, that it ain't none of our business. He says, yeah, it's a half a dozen every night. The one that they did it on purpose, let me go right by him face to face. Well, then I could have reached and grabbed him around the neck. They were looking, everybody's looking for this fella. Now they wanted to take films because they had used the fella for their criminally insane control games. The fella went berserk, and now they want to catch the fella and put him on in a big trial that look at the evidence they had that he's no good. Do you understand? So, this is St. Patrick's Day. Those are the true facts. And I say, in memory of that unknown rape, murdered black girl and the thousands then that are and now are unknown, because I say, yea, ye, O bummer, black fellow hypocrite. It's worse now than before. No particular person, whoever, any connection is purely coincidental. Oh, bummer. I say, Old Man River. That Old Man River, I just know something, but I maybe don't say as much as I should. I just keep rolling. I keep on rolling along. I don't plant taters and I don't plant cotton. And because then them plantators are soon forgotten. I'm just Old Man River, I just keep rolling along. I sweat and strain, I tote the barge, and I'm racked with pain. If I get a little drunk, I might land in jail. I gets weary, but I keeps on trying. I'm not tired of living. I keeps on living, and I'm not feared of dying. I'm just Old Man River. I just keep rolling along. Now, in memory of the unknown white girl and girls, they get raped and murdered, and there are thousands. Then and now, unknown. I say, yea, ye hypocrite, Karenberg. Not any name in particular, no connection. White fellow hypocrite. Bill, money and everything, top plush. Incidentals would maybe save every girl that's going to get murdered tonight's life. I say, in memory of those girls, and I'm preaching for tonight and every night, every day and night, 24/7. If you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy, nothing else would matter in the world today. We would go on loving in the same old way, a Garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world, and I was the director in charge. You girls practice safety, get a real good guard dog and or firearm, and you don't trust anybody, you trust yourself for safety. Any suggestions? I say thank you.